You ever look around the league and realize that some guys were born to dominate, but somewhere along the way, they just stopped evolving? Like, the game moved forward, but they didn't. This isn't about bad luck or injuries. It's about players who had every tool, every opportunity, and still refused to grow. And I'm not talking about role players, these were supposed to be stars. Let's start with the one who might be the face of this whole conversation. Ben Simmons, the guy who was supposed to redefine what an NBA point forward could be. Simmons enters the league in 2016 as the number 1 pick out of LSU. He was billed as the ultimate modern prototype, 6'10", playmaking, defensive versatility, the kind of player who could push tempo, defend multiple positions, and lead offenses. And early, he looked the part. Averages hovering around 15 to 17 points per game, elite rebound and assist numbers. Over his career, he's averaged 13.1 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, and 7.2 assists per game. He wins Rookie of the Year, makes 3 All-Star teams, all standard stuff for a generational pick. But then, the cracks begin. They begin subtly. Simmons refuses to shoot. His career 3-point percentage, 13.9%. Opponents hack him. Literally. There's a hack-a-bench strategy that teams employ, sending him to the line knowing his free throw shooting is a liability. In 2017, the Wizards gave him 29 free throws. In the 2021 playoffs, Atlanta fouled him 3 times late in Game 4, sending a message. It's not just that he doesn't shoot, it's that he won't shoot. The decision becomes emblematic. Refusing to expand his game, refusing to accept the ceilings others see for you. Then came Game 7 of the 2021 Eastern Conference semifinals against Atlanta. The moment that flipped the narrative. Simmons found himself wide open on a fast break dunk. What did he do? Passed it. Just passed it. Just like that, the world saw the hesitation that had always been simmering beneath the surface. Simmons' confidence crumbled, his reputation plummeted, and the shot he refused to take became symbolic of a career of untapped potential. Since then, he's played just 57 of 246 possible regular season games across multiple seasons. Free throw shooting at 34% in the postseason only cemented the frustration. Eventually, he lands in Brooklyn, but the ghost of that Game 7 moment follows him. Statistics dive, confidence erodes. By 2025, Simmons is waived by the Nets in February. After averaging just 6.5 points per game, 6.2 rebounds per game, and 6.3 assists per game in Brooklyn, the trajectory is like a slow bleed. He's now with the Clippers, but the narrative is the same. Will he or won't he show up? His past greatness doesn't protect him from the present. Here's the dirtiest truth. His collapse was not about physical decline. It was about refusal. Refusal to shoot. Refusal to expand, refusal to evolve. Talent, yes, but without willingness to improve, talent becomes wasted potential. Simmons is the cautionary tale every GM warns rookies about. Don't peak mentally before you peak physically. Then there's Deandre Ayton, drafted number 1 overall in 2018. Phoenix thought they were getting a modern big man, a two-way anchor who could dominate inside, protect the rim, grab boards, and maybe even stretch the floor. On paper, Ayton had the measurements, he had the buzz, he had the tools, and for brief flashes, he showed exactly why he was the top pick. Solid scoring, double-digit rebounds, soft touch around the rim. But here's the problem. It was all in bursts, not night in, night out dominance. Early in his career, Ayton was putting up 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks per game, shooting over 57% from the field. Impressive numbers, right? But if you were expecting him to be the guy who carried the team, who battles for every rebound and every possession, well, let's just say you were often left disappointed. The whispers started early. Analysts noticed the flat shoulders, missing box outs, drifting in weak side rotations, the occasional avoidance of contact in the paint. Fans called it coasting. Small guards were bullying him inside. Opponents literally said they'd exploit him. His temperament, too gentle, too soft. The worst critiques, he has all the tools, but not the urgency. And let's be clear, Ayton has the talent. In some games, he's dominant. I mean, 25 points and 20 rebounds in overtime against Phoenix, that's a highlight reel moment. But the next night, he could disappear. His motor fluctuates, his defensive awareness sometimes feels non-existent, and that's what makes this so frustrating. He isn't limited by physical tools, he's limited by urgency. Phoenix built a finals team, and where was Ayton in that run? A supporting actor. He wasn't the engine, the guy forcing opponents to adjust. And when he moved to Portland, same story. Critics immediately noticed the lack of sustained intensity. And here's the kicker. Teams traded him. A number 1 pick is supposed to be untouchable, right? Not Ayton. Reputation matters in the NBA. Talent without fight, without consistency, can collapse faster than a house of cards. And Ayton's career shows it. You can have everything, size, skill, opportunity, and still fade if the drive isn't there. Even Ayton acknowledges it, trying to flip the narrative. Signing with the Lakers in 2025, he said, "It fuels me. It fuels me completely. It's a lot of fuel in me to prove to the whole world." Admirable words, but the league doesn't hand out awards for intention alone. It's about consistent impact, and Ayton's story so far, flashy highlights, glimpses of dominance, but never the sustained greatness expected from a number 1 pick. Now let's talk about Jalen Green. This guy came into the league like a video game character. 6'5", elite athleticism, high-flying leaper, smooth shooting stroke. On paper, he's exactly what you want in a young, high-usage scorer. In the G League Ignite, he was turning heads, showing flashes of a two-way star who could dominate transition and put the ball in the basket from anywhere. And the numbers backed it up. Green has averaged 20.1 points per game on 42% shooting from the field and 34% shooting from 3 with an 80% free throw percentage. Those are solid numbers for a 23-year-old wing in the NBA. He's got raw scoring ability, can get to the rim, and can pull up from deep without hesitation. But here's the problem. Athleticism can only take you so far. Green is a straight line athlete. He doesn't have the shiftiness or craft to consistently create clean looks for himself or others. Decision making can be erratic, handles are loose at times, and he's still figuring out how to read the floor at an NBA pace. And it shows. He can light up the scoreboard, but it rarely translates into wins. His team struggles when he's relied on to run the offense or create under pressure. Coaches have noticed it too. One assistant coach told reporters, "Jalen is one of the most athletic guys in the league, but you can see when the game slows down for him, he's not always sure where to go." Green is still young, so there's room for growth, but the clock is ticking. The league has caught up to him athletically, and now it's less about verticality and more about IQ, craft, and reading the game. Will he figure it out? Maybe. But if he doesn't add those elements, all the highlight reel dunks and deep threes won't be enough to elevate him to a superstar level. Man, Michael Porter Jr. is one of the most frustrating players I've ever watched because he could be special. Standing at 6'10" with a silky jumper and a wingspan that should make him a matchup nightmare, he should be dominating the league. Yet, he was nothing more than a spectator in Denver's championship run. Last season, he averaged 18.2 points per game on 50.4% shooting and nearly 40% from 3 and 7 rebounds per game. On paper, perfect third option. In reality, a roller coaster. When the Nuggets need him to rebound, he's floating. When they need him to defend, he's guessing. And when the game tightens up, his body language screams disengaged. While Porter's offense is solid, his inability to consistently impact the game beyond scoring has been a glaring issue. His defense is lackluster, and his playmaking is almost non-existent. The Nuggets' success was built around Nikola Jokic's brilliance, not Porter's contributions. I get it, he's had back surgeries, real injuries that limit mobility. But effort? That's not something you lose in rehab. Even Denver media outlets like the Denver Post have questioned his defensive commitment, saying Porter's lapses on defense make him the most unpredictable starter on the floor. Yeah, he can score, but he doesn't always help you win. He's the guy who will hit 4 threes in a row and then forget a rotation that swings the game. The numbers are nice. The impact, not so much. Now, with the Nets, Porter faces a pivotal moment in his career. The question remains, can he evolve into a two-way player and live up to his potential? Or will he continue to be a one-dimensional scorer? Next, D'Angelo Russell. And listen, I'm not denying D'Lo's bag. Dude can hoop. At Ohio State, he averaged 19.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, showcasing his versatility and basketball IQ. Drafted second overall by the Lakers in 2015, expectations were sky high. His shot creation, the flair, the pace, it's fun to watch. But the problem with D'Lo has never been talent, it's trust. Go back to 2017, the now infamous Lakers locker room incident. He secretly records teammate Nick Young talking about cheating, it leaks, and all hell breaks loose. That wasn't just gossip, it was a career-altering moment. Magic Johnson said flat out he wanted a leader, not a liability. So the Lakers traded him. And even after that redemption arc in Brooklyn, the same story followed him. Too streaky, too self-reliant, too hard to build around. When he came back to LA, he looked good in flashes, but the playoffs exposed him. Against Denver, he averaged 6 points a game and got benched in the conference finals. Russell's problem isn't skill, it's consistency and chemistry. You can't lead a franchise if teammates don't trust your decision-making when it matters. And that's why, after all these years, D'Lo still feels like a mercenary, skilled enough to get signed, but not trusted enough to build around. Russell's career has been marred by inconsistency, immaturity, and a lack of judgment. Despite flashes of brilliance, Russell has never fully realized his potential. His recent trade to the Nets underscores the league's growing impatience with his underachievement. Let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga, Golden State's golden project. Explosive, athletic, strong, everything you'd want in a modern wing. Kuminga is a physical marvel. At 6 feet 7 inches, with a 7-foot wingspan and elite athleticism, he possesses the tools to be a two-way star. Drafted into one of the best systems in basketball, surrounded by champions, coaches, and elite shooters. It was supposed to be the perfect developmental environment. In the 2023-24 season, he averaged 16.1 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game. However, his development has been anything but linear. And here we are, a few seasons in, and Kuminga's story still sounds the same. Flashes of greatness, flashes of confusion. Steve Kerr has said publicly that Kuminga needs to fit into the system and understand spacing. Translation, he's not adapting fast enough. And that's the problem, because at some point, young potential expires. When you're learning from Steph, Clay, and Draymond and still struggling with consistency, that's not on the system, it's on you. Kuminga has all the physical tools, but he's got to make the mental leap. Until then, he's an athletic maybe. Despite his raw talent, Kuminga's basketball IQ and consistency have been questioned. His minutes fluctuate, and he's often benched during critical moments, indicating a lack of trust from the coaching staff. The Warriors' decision to sign him to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract reflects their belief in his potential, but also their uncertainty about his future role. Mo Bamba, one of the most hyped prospects out of Texas. 7 feet tall, a 7'10 wingspan, a 7-footer who can shoot. He even had a viral rap song named after him before his NBA career even started. Sounds like a superstar, right? Even when the lights turned on, the production never matched the promise. Yeah, he blocks shots. Sure, he can knock down an open three. But impact? Almost none. In 6 years, he's bounced between 3 teams, averaging around 4 points and 4 rebounds per game last season. And it's not about talent. Bamba has more tools than most big men in the league. The problem? Drive, effort, urgency. One scout told Bleacher Report, he has the tools but not the urgency. That's it in a nutshell. You can't survive in the NBA on potential alone. Eventually, you have to show up and play. Bamba came into the league as the next unicorn, posting a 3/4 court sprint in 3.04 seconds at the 2018 Combine, faster than Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, and John Wall. A freak athlete with guard-like agility and freakish length. On paper, it was the perfect storm. In reality, He drifts through games, floats on defense, disappears in key moments. Coaches don't trust him, and his minutes shrink. Mo Bamba is proof that talent without fire is worthless. You can be the most athletic guy in the world, but if you refuse to compete, the league will pass you by. Now let's talk about Bol Bol, Manute Bol's kid, a freak of nature. 7'2", 7'8" wingspan, shoots like a guard, moves like a wing. On paper, this guy is a unicorn. You watch his highlights and you're like, this is NBA god tier potential right here. But then reality hits. Every coach benches him. Every team eventually moves on. Why? Because the flashes never last. One night, he's dropping 20 points, grabbing 14 boards, looking unstoppable. The next, he's lost on defense, ghosting through rotations, doing everything but impacting the game. That's not a superstar, that's a highlight reel that forgot to show up to work. In 2023-24, Bol averaged just 5.2 points and 3.2 rebounds in 10.9 minutes per game over 43 games, shooting an efficient 61.6% from the field. Sure, the efficiency is nice, but that barely scratches the surface. Minutes are tight, trust is non-existent, and he's still treated like a project after years in the league. Here's the brutal truth. Bol Bol has all of the tools: length, skill, freakish agility, but zero motor. You can be the next Steph Curry with 7-foot bones, but if you float through games, if you refuse to compete on the defensive end, coaches will bench you. Teams won't wait forever. And that's Bol Bol's problem. He's beautiful on paper, invisible in reality. Until he learns to match that talent with effort, Bol Bol isn't just underperforming, he's actively wasting one of the most unique skill sets the league has seen in decades. Finally, Andrea Bargnani, the original modern big, the first overall pick in 2006, the guy Toronto thought would be their European Dirk Nowitzki. On paper, he had it all: 7-foot size, a smooth jumper, skill to stretch the floor, even the potential to change the way big men played in the league. In reality, he checked in like a guy clocking in for a shift. Bargnani never evolved. He never learned to rebound consistently, never became a real defensive presence, and his scoring, well, it existed, but it was mostly empty points. Over his career, he averaged about 15 points per game, but it never translated into wins or impact. The Raptors stuck with him, waiting for a breakthrough that never came, hoping their European Dirk would emerge. But instead, Bargnani floated through games, never showing the kind of obsession and fire you need to dominate in the NBA. Critics quickly flagged the problems. His lack of physicality and defensive effort made him a liability, and even his signature jumper wasn't enough to cover it up. As Toronto star writer Doug Smith put it, Bargnani had the tools, but never the will. The moral of Bargnani's story, and honestly, this entire list, is simple. Talent without obsession doesn't win in the NBA. You can be 7 feet tall and skilled, but if you refuse to compete, if you fade instead of fight, the league won't wait. And that's exactly what happened with Andrea Bargnani. He left the league quietly in 2016, not with applause, but with a sigh. Beautiful on paper, invisible in reality. So, what's the takeaway? Talent gets you noticed, but mindset keeps you in the league. You can have the handles, the length, the jumper, but if you stop evolving, the NBA won't wait. But I want to hear from you. Who on this list do you think got unfairly roasted? Who deserved more credit? Drop your hot takes in the comments below.